I just finished True Believer from Jack Carr, so second book of Eternalist. Far, far better in my opinion. Um, yeah, there's not much, a whole lot different I can say about this one. I can say pretty much a lot of the same things about the first one. The first half of True Believer definitely takes a little while to get in. I was confused by some stuff with like the character known as Oliver Gray, and then it was just James Reese stuck on a boat for a little while. Uh, but after that, it starts to pick up a little bit. There's some pretty cool stuff in the beginning that, you know, the character goes through. Uh, but about page 200, somewhere in there, when another character, Freddy, is introduced, it really picks up and it becomes far better. I couldn't put it down pretty much in the last like 150 pages. Last 200 pages really got me going and interested in it, but at the last 150 pages, I didn't put it down. I stayed up really, really late the other night to uh, finish it, and I hadn't done that in a while. So, um, yeah, there's not really too many concerns other than just what concerns I had kind of in the original are still there, but that's also just kind of a general thing for me that some people might have an issue with. But again, it's only in the first half of the book where it's that really slow build up. Once some things kick off, it actually gets incredibly good. So, best page of the entire book, for those of you who have read it know what I'm talking about. For those of you who will read it, you'll understand what I mean. Page 364, the best page of the book. Sorry if I do sound a little like crappy while I'm doing this. I'm getting over a sore throat and a sickness. So again, I read a lot of this while doing that. Um, yeah, for the redemption of James Reese, this theme of this book is really good. I enjoyed it. Um, Sad to see some of what happened, but I'm really curious to see what is gonna happen in Savage Sun. I'm already a couple of chapters in by the time I'm recording this, so I am really excited to see how that plays out in the Montana wilderness. I'm always curious to see what people will do with Russian Brava and knowing some of the twists and turns that were alluded to at the end of True Believer with Tom Reese and Andronov and Oliver Gray. I am most excited to see what all is revealed more with uh, some of the Russians and with the Reese family. I'm thinking by this prologue that I read of Savage Sun, it's gonna be cool. But True Believer, I think Jack Carr definitely got more into his element with writing, more of the story. The first one felt a step by step process of what one of these guys would do if something happened. True Believer felt more like a little bit of a storytelling, at least in the second half. First half still was a little monotonous, but it was also building up, and it still had some good story into it objectively. But it was still a bit slow for me personally. I think Jack Carr really got into his story element with True Believer, and even though it's about 100 pages shorter, I'm thinking Savage Sun is going to even be better in knowing what the theme of Savage Sun is, since the first one is kind of all about that unhinged, what would happen if you lost everything. True Believer is about the redemption of the first book, and the third book, he talks about more of it being hunter versus hunted and what makes humans a warrior, a hunter, or just a killer. Is there a difference? Do they do? Does it depend on your mentality and killing? And I've always been fascinated by that same set of questions that he's uh, putting forth in Savage Sun after this book. So I'm really excited to explore his thought process on that in Savage Sun. But definitely recommend powering through the first book, getting through most of the second book, and enjoying the story. It's very good. A lot of really good recommendations in the acknowledgments at the end of this book. Same thing with Terminal List. I didn't cover that in the other part. But there's definitely interesting books that I'm putting on my list to check out, both fiction and nonfiction that he talks about in here that I have never heard of before. That always fascinates me, always being a student of soldiers and warriors, a lot like how he talks about it in his own books, in his own life. Being a SEAL, like all that stuff fascinates me as well, and I love studying it and get perspective of guys like this. So, without a doubt, far better improvement. Very much like it. Absolutely recommend to keep going through the series. If you made it to the first book, you'll enjoy True Believer, and I will see you guys in the next part once I finish Savage Son. So, adios and have a good one. Jack Carr, very good job.